Hello and welcome to my mini masterclass on stress management. I call this one Modern Musings on Finding Your Zen. And we're going to go through a little crash course on ways we can really focus on our health and wellness and help ourselves develop that little Zen space within. We use the word Zen a lot, meaning kind of peace and calming, but we use it as an adjective, yes. And we're going to be talking about where that comes from and how we can create our Zen space. So the word's originally Sanskrit. I'm not going to read all of these slides to you. I trust you to do that yourself, right? Meditation and quietude are the same word. They mean the same thing. It's a practice of stillness and going within. And it comes from Zen Buddhism and the practice of Zazen. And it really can help us kind of go within and understand ourselves. In this practice, it's understood that to be a human being is to find suffering, right? Like, to be human is to love, but it's also to get your ass kicked in the arena of life. It's just inevitable. Like, as I say to my students a lot, life, it's not for wussies. You're going to suffer. It's going to hurt. You're going to get bumps and bruises and scrapes and cuts along the way, right? But one of the reasons we suffer so much in life, as you see the Four Noble Truths, Rule 2, is because we get attached to things. So attachment leads to suffering, but it can be stopped. It's possible to stop your suffering in life. And there's an eightfold path to help us do that. So you can look at those on your own, but these are some of the ways that we can kind of help ourselves alleviate the suffering from our lives and our attachment to certain things. So you can practice the practice of Zazen, which is a practice of meditation. There really is no one right way to meditate. There are many correct ways, but it's more of connecting with your inner you and your inner stillness. So we'll talk about that later. What causes us so much stress? I think right now, with the way the world is, that's stressful enough. But when the world is not upside down, there are other things that cause us stress. So think about it. Why? Right? What does it do to us? How are we going to deal with it? And how are we going to fight this dis-ease that is caused by stress, right? If you have something mentally wrong or physically wrong or spiritually wrong, some kind of dis-ease is going to manifest itself. So it's all connected. What are your triggers? Which one of these is your biggest trigger? How do those triggers affect you? Think about these things. This very short video is going to tell us what stress is doing to our bodies. Because stress is a facet of life. Like, we're not going to escape it. It's part of life. How we respond to it, though, is where all of our personal power lies.
Cramming for a test? Trying to get more done than you have time to do? Stress is a feeling we all experience when we are challenged or overwhelmed. But more than just an emotion, stress is a hardwired physical response that travels throughout your entire body. In the short term, stress can be advantageous, but when activated too often or too long, your primitive fight or flight stress response not only changes your brain, but also damages many of the other organs and cells throughout your body. Your adrenal gland releases the stress hormones cortisol epinephrine, also known as adrenaline, and norepinephrine. As these hormones travel through your bloodstream, they easily reach your blood vessels and heart. Adrenaline causes your heart to beat faster and raises your blood pressure, over time causing hypertension. Cortisol can also cause the endothelium, or inner lining of blood vessels, to not function normally. Scientists now know that this is an early step in triggering the process of atherosclerosis, or cholesterol plaque buildup in your arteries. Together, these changes increase your chances of a heart attack or stroke. When your brain senses stress, it activates your autonomic nervous system. Through this network of nerve connections, your big brain communicates stress to your enteric or intestinal nervous system. Besides causing butterflies in your stomach, this brain-gut connection can disturb the natural rhythmic contractions that move food through your gut, leading to irritable bowel syndrome, and can increase your gut's sensitivity to acid, making you more likely to feel heartburn. Via the gut's nervous system, stress can also change the composition and function of your gut bacteria, which may affect your digestive and overall health. Speaking of digestion, does chronic stress affect your waistline? Well, yes. Cortisol can increase your appetite. It tells your body to replenish your energy stores with energy-dense foods and carbs, causing you to crave comfort foods. High levels of cortisol can also cause you to put on those extra calories as visceral or deep belly fat. This type of fat doesn't just make it harder to button your pants. It is an organ that actively releases hormones and immune system chemicals called cytokines that can increase your risk of developing chronic diseases, such as heart disease and insulin resistance. Meanwhile, stress hormones affect immune cells in a variety of ways. Initially, they help prepare to fight invaders and heal after injury, but chronic stress can dampen the function of some immune cells, make you more susceptible to infections, and slow the rate you heal. Want to live a long life? You may have to curb your chronic stress. That's because it has even been associated with shortened telomeres, the shoelace tip ends of chromosomes that measure a cell's age. Telomeres cap chromosomes to allow DNA to get copied every time a cell divides without damaging the cell's genetic code, and they shorten with each cell division. When telomeres become too short, a cell can no longer divide, and it dies. As if all that weren't enough, chronic stress has even more ways it can sabotage your health, including acne, hair loss, sexual dysfunction, headaches, muscle tension, difficulty concentrating, fatigue, and irritability. So, what does all this mean for you? Your life will always be filled with stressful situations.
Fact.
But what matters to your brain and entire body is how you respond to that stress. If you can view those situations as challenges you can control and master, rather than as threats that are insurmountable, you will perform better in the short run and stay healthy in the long run.
Hashtag truth, right? That video is spot on, spot on. So here's a few ways we can deal with our stress. Using neuroplasticity, the concept of holos, and the belief in the triumvirate, love words, of wellness. So neuroplasticity, it's our brain's ability to reorganize. Bottom line, check out that picture, by the way. Bottom line is that our brain can reprogram itself. So that old thing of, I can't change, I just can't, is BS. You can, it's just hard, and you have to do it, right? So you can unlearn and learn things at will. No matter how old you are, your brain can reorganize. Because life is all about perspective. Life is how we see it. Take a look at the pictures on the left. There are two animals in both pictures. That is the reality of the situation. However, the way you see that situation usually focuses on one of them. So the power of your perspective needs to be questioned, right? So if your perspective is causing you problems, then possibly you need to look a little bit differently and harder and change your perspective. Because honestly, we are the sum of all of our parts. That's what holos means. It's where this big word that we hear all the time, holistic, comes from. It means the whole. Everything you put into your body or into your mind or into your spirit will affect all of the rest of you, right? So if you eat really healthy, but you consume mental garbage, it's going to affect you negatively, right? They're all connected. You have three sides to you: your physical side, your mental side, and your emotional and / spiritual side, right? This is the triumvirate. These are the three governing forces of you, what make you you. So if one of those is out of whack, it's going to affect the other two. It's not woo-woo bullshit. It's the truth. So how do we strengthen them, right? So for your physical side, eat the rainbow. No, I don't mean taste the rainbow and eat some Skittles. I mean the real rainbow, right? All of those vegetables. The more colorful your food is, naturally colorful, the better it is for you, right? The better your body's going to feel. Keep it healthy, right? Sure, you can have your chocolate every once in a while. That's fine in moderation. Chocolate's good for you. Releases dopamine, right? It's yummy, yummy. Exercise. Move your butt, and then move your butt some more. Very simple. Exercise also releases the happy hormones within your brain. It's good for your body. It's good for everything. Sleep. At least 7 hours a night. 7 is the magic number. At 7 hours, our brain likes to wash itself in cerebrospinal fluid, cleaning out all of the toxins that our brains have accumulated throughout our day. Sleeping is so important. You know what helps you sleep? Meditation and exercise and a healthy diet. Speaking of our brain, we talked about this before. Notice your triggers. Whatever pisses you off is something you need to deal with, right? Don't carry around those triggers anymore. Those things shouldn't have power over you. Practice gratitude. We are a very negative species. We like to focus on the wrong side of things. We rarely look at what's right. Every day, pick your favorite number. Mine is 13. And mentally think about that number of things that you're grateful to have. I'll think of 3 right now. I'm grateful for music, I'm grateful for my health, and I am grateful for my family. And when you think you have nothing to be grateful for, shut your mouth, breathe, notice your breathing, and then be grateful that you have breath in your body. There's a freebie. Do something that mentally stimulates you. Something that lights you up, that gets your mind involved. Practice meditation, mindfulness. We're going to talk about this. These are all common sense things that help you get a hold of your brain and your mind and your stress, right? Because the world only exists in your eyes. You can make it as big or as small as you want. As soon as you change your mind, you change your world. It's 100% the truth. I love it. You don't need an astrophysicist to tell you this. It's real basic. Emotional and spiritual side. This is my favorite side of all of human beings, humanity, right? Our emotional and spiritual side. And one of the ways you strengthen that is own and deal with your stuff. We just talked about it. Deal with your crap. There you go. Find a creative outlet. Mine is singing. Mine is writing. Mine is digging up crystals in the earth and just loving on Mother Nature, right? Find things that light you up. Connect deeply with other people. And for the love of God, disconnect with your tech, right? Our technology personalities are far more shallow than our genuine. So connect with the genuine side of people more so than that superficial side. Multisensory activities goes with creative outlets. Do things that light you up, right? Find a meditation and gratitude practice. These last two are my favorite. Stop competing with other people and comparing yourself to others. We're one in maybe 7.8, 7.9 billion people. No one has your unique experiences and your unique circumstances. So don't compare yourself to others and play that game. It's not a game with them. As soon as you stop doing that, life becomes so much less stressful. Last but certainly not least, go outside. Go outside. Go connect with the one thing that gives us life, nature. It's gorgeous, especially right now. Go outside. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. In 2015, I published a book called Mea Vita Lotus, Modern Musings on Enlightenment, and it was just a bunch of stories and lessons that I've learned throughout my whole life on various subjects. And every chapter I started with an Albert Einstein quote, and this started my chapter on the spirit and and emotions. So we are the only species that logically goes against our instincts, which is really bizarre. We will get ourselves into a situation in which we get into trouble, but we always say that my gut told me I shouldn't be there. Your gut is your instincts. It's your intuition. It is your sixth sense. You can call it whatever you want. All animals have it. We have it. We just ignore it. So when you start living in a world that really honors the gift of intuition and listens to the gift of intuition, you start to take yourself out of, tricky situations, and life becomes a lot easier to navigate when you put those instincts and the intuition into your everyday practice. It's something to be thought about. Okay, make sure you are practicing meditation. There are all different kinds. We're going to go over them in another video. So just make sure you open yourself up to that idea of meditation. Mindfulness. It's kind of like everything we just talked about. Have a look. They all affect each other. And self-care. So I love this slide and I love this analogy of the diamond. We get taught that being selfish and taking care of ourselves first is somehow a dirty practice and it's not a positive thing to do. That way of thinking is done. Done, dead, over, dead. In order for you to be the best version of yourself and give people the best version of yourself, you have to actually be the best version of yourself. So as cool as this diamond in the rough, and they use that all the time, oh, they're a diamond in the rough. It's as cool as that looks, right? It looks cool. It doesn't look as cool as these. And quite frankly, it's not worth as more. And I don't mean on that monetary wavelength too, you know what I mean. The cut and faceted gemstone and diamond it's priceless in some people's minds. So all they needed to do to find that diamond within that was to chip away at the outside parts of the rough stone, right? And that's a great analogy for us. We carry all this baggage and we carry all this crap. And if we just chip away at it, we can reveal a much more brilliant side of ourselves. So please think about stress management as a way of chipping away those unnecessary sides so that we can kind of find our brilliant and shiny self. How beautiful is that sky? That is in Pennsylvania, and that is the Milky Way. It's on my bucket list of places to go once I am finally allowed to travel outside of my house. But sometimes when I picture a Zen space, I picture something like this. So please use these tools to help you create a Zen space within. And then another fun thing is creating a Zen space without, in your home and in your workspace and in your bedroom and all of the places that are your sanctuary. So I hope this helped, and I look forward to being in contact with you soon. Please be well and just breathe.